Good afternoon. And it is just barely that, about 6 minutes after 12 here in beautiful downtown Stoneford, Illinois. Big city, 300 people. Welcome to the Philadelphia Assemblies. Today is the 7th day of the 4th month of the year 5779, according to our calculation of the sacred calendar. Again, we see the full moon as the new moon per Psalm 81, verse 3. I'll get it out right. Okay, so today's also the 23rd day of June, which is the first day of the week, 2019. So here it's the first day of the week, what people call Sunday. Okay, so we're going to continue our expository teaching of the Torah. We're going to be in Numbers, part 4 of Numbers. We're going to start in verse 11. Chapter 11 and verse 1. That's where we're going to start. But before we get started, we're going to turn towards the east, where the temple was and where the temple will be again as prophesied. Almighty Father Yahuwah, we praise you and thank you for all the things that you're teaching us, Father. Father, again, wherever we're in error, we ask for correction. Wherever we're in the truth, we ask to be edifying to the body or to build up the body. We ask that your Ruach HaKodesh would be upon us, and you would teach us all things through your Ruach, through your Holy Spirit, set-apart Spirit. We ask that you would bless us and teach us and help us to get this Torah down on YouTube. We ask it all in your precious Son, Yeshua, Jesus, whatever name that you're known by to these, but the Son of the living Elohim. We ask it all in his name. Amen. Know that a lot of people out there don't like it because I bring up all those different names. I know that some people know that I'm teaching truth, and they think that because I think that people might not fully understand the names, or we might not be on the correct name, but somehow that you're not quite as set apart as somebody else. Remember, none of that stuff is how you become acceptable in the eyes of the Father. That's done by us accepting his sacrifice first, which was his Son that died for our sins, and his blood was spilled to take away our sins. And secondly, after we receive that, we walk in obedience according to his covenant. That's the only way that we're going to get in the kingdom. It's not going to be by how you pronounce the name. That's just not correct. And that's works just like saying that if we just keep the covenant without truly doing it because we love the Most High with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and our neighbor as ourselves. If you just keep the commandments blindly, those things don't get us to the kingdom either. We have to get under that shed blood of our Messiah, and we have to stay there by staying in covenant with the Father because we love him and obeying him, knowing he's correct. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started then. Numbers chapter 11, verse 1. This is all in black, starting out here all the way through verse 15. So it's Moshe giving an account of the things that happened. Okay, sometimes speaking of himself in the second person. Okay, so in verse 1 it says, and when the people complained, okay, period, they were complaining about a number of things, but when they complained, it displeased the Father, Yahuwah, or Yahweh, or those 4 letters that we've been talking about. That's what the word tetragrammaton means. So don't be confused when I say that about the 4 letters, because those 4 letters are either Y-H-U-H, that's where the word Yahuwah comes from, okay? But it can also come from Y-H-W-H if you spell it with a W, okay, instead of without the W. So that could be Y-H-W-H. A lot of people believe that. I think the majority of people probably think Y-H-W-H, but I'm not positive of that because I see a lot of them that think it's Y-H-V-H. That's where Yehovah, Yahweh, different words like that come from. And the Y-H-W-H is where Yahweh comes from. Okay, so those 4 letters are what's known as the Tetragrammaton, and that represents the name of the Father or the Most High. So don't be confused by when I say the 4 letters, okay, because that's what represents his name in Hebrew without consonants. But in the old styled Hebrew, they carried their vowel points, or not, they didn't have vowel points, they carried the vowel sounds within the consonants, where within what they call modern Hebrew, they had to have vowel points that sages applied. Okay, so that's the difference in the modern and the ancient Hebrew. But in any case, we're always talking about the Father, and that's why I'm trying to make this point. Let me start again. And when the people complained, as they often did and will continue to do, it displeased Yahuwah or Yahweh, that those 4 letters that represent his name. And Yahuwah or Yahweh heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire of Yahuwah or Yahweh burnt among them. We know that fire was the Ruach. That's his power. That's his spirit. That's what, he's manifest as. Okay, and then consumed them that were in the outermost parts of the camp, or around the edges. And the people cried unto Moses, or Moshe. And when Moshe prayed unto Yahuwah or Yahweh, the fire was quenched, or it stopped. It was put out. Verse 3, and Moses called the name of the place Taberah, which means burning, because the fire of Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah burnt among them. 4, and the mixed multitude that was among them, which we know those was of the nations that dwelled among Israel, fell at a lust, or had greedy desires. And the Ben, or sons of Israel, physical descendants, also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? So this is telling you, at this point in time, they've been eating the manna that's coming down from heaven, but they were wanting more than that. They were greedy. They wanted flesh. We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, or at no cost. It was at great cost. They were slaves in the land of Egypt. They had to do the will of them. It says the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. Boy, isn't that how people are today? Get on a diet for whatever reason, where they have to give up some things that they normally do. What do they want? The things they're not getting, even though if they're getting abundance of everything else. Verse 6, but now our soul, our body, is dried away, or they're famishing. There is nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes. Now, this is the bread that came down out of heaven, that is very, not only nourishing, but it is a shadow of things to come. Okay? We'll leave it at that for now, because I don't want to confuse. Verse 7, and the manna was as coriander, okay, seed, and the color thereof was as bdellium, or like gum resin, it says. Verse 8, and the people went about and gathered it and ground it in mills, or beat it in a mortar, and baked it in pans, and made cakes of it, like bread cakes, like the ones that later on they would be making from the grain that they would be sacrificing as a grain offering, or meat offering, the King James would call it. And the taste of it was as the taste of fresh oil. Verse 9, and when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. Then Moshe, or Moses, heard the people weep throughout their families, every man in the door of his tent. And the anger of Yahuwah, or Yahweh, or the 4 letters, that Tetragrammaton, was kindled greatly. Moshe also was displeased with the people. I added that. Verse 11, and Moshe said unto Yahuwah, or Yahweh, or Jehovah, wherefore hast thou afflicted thy servant? Or why have you afflicted, or put pressure upon my servant? And why have I not found favor in your sight, that you layest the burden or responsibility of all this people upon me? So Moshe said unto Yahuwah, Think what he's saying. Why has your servant, have you put pressure on your servant? Talking to the Yahuwah. I'm sure this is a mistake here. And why have I not found favor in your sight? He's asking the Father that you layest this burden of all the people upon me. He's starting to not respect his position. Verse 12, Moshe is, have I conceived all this people, as he caused them to be? Have I begotten them, that you should say unto me, carry them in your bosom as a nursing father bears the suckling child unto the land which you swear unto their fathers. This is Moses grumbling here. I don't think it was good. Verse 13, whence should, or from where should I have flesh or meat to give unto all these people? For they weep unto me, saying, give us flesh that we may eat. Meat. That's what they're looking for. And, people, they don't get meat today, they're going to get mean too. Unless you're a vegetarian. Verse 14, I'm not able to bear or to carry all these people along because it is too heavy for me. You know what? We as teachers and ministers might feel that way a lot. Okay? And we probably grumble a lot sometimes too. And if you deal thus with me, kill me. If you're going to be this way, he says, put me out of my misery, I pray you, out of the hand, if I have found favor in your sight, and let me not see my wretchedness. He's so angry. That's his wretchedness he's talking about. Verse 16, and Yahuwah or Yahweh said unto Moshe, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you knowest to be the elders of the people and the officers over them, and bring them into the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with you. Verse 17, this is all in red, and I will come down and talk with you there. And you know that Yahuwah or Yahweh, the 4 letters, himself wasn't going to come and do that, because if he did, it wouldn't be true that what our Messiah said, no one's seen his shape or heard his form at any time. He was going to send his Ruach in his stead, and that's what he's talking about here. And I will take of the Spirit, there you can see that big S, which is upon you, and will put it upon them. That's what they were going to meet with. And they shall bear the burden of the people with you, and you bear it not yourself alone, because the Father understood what he was saying. He probably understands when we grumble sometimes today about the people we lead or are involved with. Maybe we're not leading them, maybe we're just involved with them. And we hear their complaining and grumbling, and it makes us complain and grumble. Verse 18, and say unto the people, sanctify yourself. Separate yourself, or set yourself apart. Okay? Against the next day, and you shall eat flesh. He's going to provide what they're asking for. For you have wept in the ears of Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah, saying, who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore Yahuwah or Yahweh will give you flesh, and you shall eat. You shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days, nor 20 days, but even a whole month, until it come out of your nostrils, till you're sick of it, because you've been complaining. And it be loathsome unto you, till you hate it, because that you have despised Yahuwah, or Yahweh, or Jehovah, which is among you. Now, again, he himself wasn't among you, but his spirit was. Okay, and that's what he's talking about. And have wept before him, saying, why came we forth out of Egypt? 21, and Moshe said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen. And you have said, and this is in red again because this is a direct quote, I will give them flesh that they may eat a whole month. 22, shall the flocks and the herds be slain for them to sacrifice them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to suffice them? Because there's so many. Now, this is kind of looking towards later on, like we see the Lord's Supper or Yahuwah's Supper, or maybe our Messiah's Supper. I'm not talking about that. I'm really probably wandering a little bit with that. I mean, when they fed the 5,000 in the wilderness, okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, when they did that, there was plenty for everybody, and they just had, a small amount of bread and fish for everybody, but yet it was enough. And he's asking the same kind of questions here as the disciples in Matthew, Mark, and Luke asked about the multitudes. Okay, it's the same thing. This has happened then, it happens again with the Messiah. Verse 23, and Yahuwah said, or Yahweh said unto Moshe, is Yahuwah's hand grown short? You shall see now whether my word shall come to pass unto you or not. Or in other words, you're going to believe me or you're not going to believe me. You're going to see if I am who I say I am. The I am. Verse 24. And Moshe went out and told the people the words of Yahuwah or Yahweh, and gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people and set them round about the tabernacle. And Yahuwah came down in a cloud. Okay, this cloud again is what he's talking about with his Ruach, his Holy Spirit. Okay, and took of the Spirit, big S, that was upon him, Moshe, and gave it unto the 70 elders. And it came to pass that when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied and did not cease. Notice it was resting upon them, but it wasn't remaining upon them. Verse 26, but there remained 2 of the men in the camp. The name of one was Eldad, and the name of the other was Medad. And the Spirit rested upon them, and they were of them that were written, but went not out into the tabernacle, and they prophesied in the camp, probably as a sign or evidence to the people. Okay, verse 27, and there ran a young man and told Moshe and said, Eldad and Medad do prophesy in the camp. Verse 28, and Yeshua, says Joshua in the King James, but a better translation in Hebrew would have been Yeshua, the son of Nun, the servant of Moshe, one of his young men, answered and said, my master Moshe forbid them. Verse 29, and Moshe, or Moses, said unto him, enviest thou for my sake? Do you envy them for my sake? Would Elohim that all Yahuwah's people were prophets? Yeah, he wished that they would all be prophets, and that Yahuwah would put his Spirit upon them. Notice what I'm talking about the Ruach HaKodesh, how much emphasis they are as his Spirit being put upon them. His Spirit comes down in a cloud, his angel and his hornet, all these different things is talking about the Spirit of Elohim. Okay? And that is the Spirit of Yahuwah, or Yahweh, the 4 letters, that tetragrammaton. Okay? It's really undeniable, and I see no reason to deny it. Verse 30, and Moshe got him into the camp, he and the elders of Israel, and there went forth a wind from Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah, and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, as it was a day's journey on the other side round about the camp, or on the close to the camp, but about a day's journey, and as it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. That's how deep they were. Okay, 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth, stacked up. They all died. Verse 32, and the people stood up all that day and all that night and all the next day, and they gathered the quail. He gathered 10 homers. Each gathered 12 homers. Okay, and he gathered 10 homers. Okay, and they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp. They distributed them. Verse 33, and while the flesh was yet between their teeth, before it was chewed, the wrath of Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah was kindled against the people, and Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah smote the people with a very great plague. And he called the name of that place Kibroth Hath Tehava. Ahava, and I may be pronouncing that incorrectly, but because there they buried the people that lusted, that desired after all that meat. And the people journeyed from Kibith Har-Tava unto Hazeroth, and abode at Hazeroth. I'm not that good sometimes at these names, so forgive me if I'm butchering them. I'm doing my best. Chapter 12, and Miriam being the sister of Aaron, and Aaron spake against Moshe because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. We know that. He did that prior to even getting joined to them, but they were a little prejudiced against this woman for whatever reason. Verse 2, and they said, hath Yahuwah or Yahweh indeed spoken only by Moshe? In other words, here they are, they're jealous. Has he not spoken also by Aaron? That's what she's saying, or they're saying, hath he not spoken also by us? And Yahuwah heard it, or Yahweh. Verse 3 is added as explanation. It's in parentheses in your King James. Now the man Moshe was very meek or humble above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. He was very humble. He didn't take responsibility for the things that Yahuwah did. Okay? He was meek and humble. He didn't become arrogant. Obviously, Aaron and Miriam here are being a little arrogant, okay, about this situation. And Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah spake suddenly unto Moshe and unto Aaron and unto Miriam. He says, come out, you three, unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out, but as we probably would have too. And Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah came down in a pillar of a cloud. Now if he came down in this cloud and he was actually there, they didn't see him because of the cloud, and that was the Ruach, and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, hear now my words. This is all in red through verse 8. Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, Yahuwah or Yahweh, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moshe is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth. And they say it could be translated face to face, but we also know that Moshe never saw Yahweh or Jehovah or Yahuwah's face. Who he saw was the Ruach, and he only seen the back, kind of the hind parts of that. Okay? So we know the situation. He says, mouth to mouth, even apparently, or even openly, and not in dark speeches, or in riddles, or parables, is what he's talking about, and the similitude or likeness of Yahuwah. Notice it says the similitude or the likeness is what similitude means, of Yahuwah shall he behold. He doesn't see him, Yahuwah or Yahweh, he sees his likeness or his similitude, which is the Ruach, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. Shall he behold, wherefore, or therefore, then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moshe or Moses? Come on. He's different than the rest of you. I've set him apart as my representative, kind of like he set apart his spirit, his Ruach, to be his witness. Okay? And verse 8, 9. This is all in black now, all the way through 13. This is Moshe or Moses' witness of what happened. Okay? And the anger of Yahuwah or Yahweh was kindled against them. And he departed. Capital E. That's talking about his likeness, his similitude. The Holy Spirit that he had sent forth departed Verse 10, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. Verse 11, and Aaron said unto Moshe, alas, my master, I beseech you, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Talking against Moshe and against the Most High. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he comes out of his mother's womb. 13, and Moshe cried unto Yahuwah, or Yahweh, saying, heal her now, O God. And this God right here would be Elohim, I beg you. Verse 14, this starts out in black because it's saying who's speaking, but then it's in red. 14, and Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah said unto Moshe, here's what he said, if her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out or excluded or put outside of the camp 7 days, and after that let her receive it. Let her be received in again. That was the punishment. Could have been death. Could have all died just like all those people did with the meat was still in their teeth. You know, because she too was lusting after the power that Moshe had. Okay? And obviously Aaron was too, but Aaron interceded for her here. 15, in black again. And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days. This is Moses' recount of the situation. And the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again. 16. And afterward the people removed from Hazeroth and pitched or camped in the wilderness of Paran. Chapter 13. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, here's what he said, it's in red, chapter 2. Send you men that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the ben of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall you send a man, every one a ruler among them. That was the order. And verse 3 on now is all in black. It's Moses' recount of the situation. He's writing it down for us and for the people of Israel before they go into the promised land. And Moshe, or Moses, by the commandment of Yahuwah, or Yahweh, sent them forth from the wilderness of Paran. All these men were heads or chiefs of the ben of Israel, the sons of Israel. Verse 4, and these were their names of the tribe of Reuben, Shamuel, the Meulah, the son of Zachar, of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat, the son of Hori. 6, of the tribe of Judah or Yehuda, Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. I know I slayed that one. Verse 7, of the tribe of Issachar, Igal, the son of Joseph. 8, of the tribe of Ephraim, Oshea, and that's Joshua, the son of Nun, who he's talking about there, Joshua, Oshea, the son of Nun. 9, of the tribe of Benjamin, Paltai, the son of Raphu. 10, of the tribe of Zebulun, Gediel, the son of Sodai. 11, of the tribe of Joseph, namely of the tribe of Manasseh, Gadai, the son of Susai. 12, of the tribe of Dan, Amiel, the son of Gamaliel, or Gamaliel. 13, of the tribe of Asher, Thur, the son of Michael. Verse 14, of the tribe of Naphtali, Nabai, the son of Vophsi. 15, of the tribe of Gad, Geuel, the son of Machai. 16. These are the names of the men which Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moshe called Oshi, or Yahshua, the son of Nun. And then it's got Yahshua, it's got Joshua in English. 17. And Moshe sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, Get you up this way southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land. Let's talk about the promised land, what it is, and the people that dwell therein, whether they be strong or weak, for few or many. And that's what Moshe is telling them, to go spy out the land, or to go look and see how it is. Verse 19. And what the land is that they dwell in, whether it be good or bad, and what cities they be that they dwell in, whether in tents, or in open camps, or in strongholds like cities with walls. Verse 20. And what the land is, whether it be fat or lean, whether there be wood therein or not, and be you of good courage, and bring the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. So this would be the time that grapes were first becoming ripe, ready for harvest. So they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rehob, as men come to Hamath. 22. And they ascend by the south, or they come up from the south, and came into Hebron, where Ahiman, Shishai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, okay, that's the tribe that they come through that are on the land, were, where they lived, where they were. Now in parentheses, this is added, but to give you better description. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. That's how long it had been there. Verse 23. And they came into the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from there a branch with one cluster of grapes, and they bare it between two men upon a staff, and they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. 24. The place was called the brook Eshcol, both because of the cluster of grapes which the Ben or sons of Israel cut down from there. 25. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. Notice that, 40 days. 40 days and 40 nights shows up a lot, doesn't it? Verse 26. And they went and came to Moshe and unto Aaron, and to the Ben of, and to all the congregation of the Ben of Israel, unto the wilderness of Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them, and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land that they just described. Verse 27. And they told him and said, We came unto the land where you sent us, and surely it floweth with milk and with honey. And this is the fruit of it, those great big grapes that they had to carry between two of them. 28. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very large or great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there, the Amalekites dwelling in the land of the south, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. Verse 30. And Caleb stilled the people, because I'm sure they were getting all scared and making a lot of noise and clamoring. He got the people quiet before Moshe and said, he's one of the witnesses, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are able to overcome it. Verse 31. But the men that went up with him said, Ye be not able to go up against the people, O you of little faith, for they are stronger than we. Verse 32. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched out, and the sons of Israel, the Ben of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eats up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it were men of great stature. Verse 33, and we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. And that's the end of that chapter. We're going to shoot on and take another chapter, okay, because I think it's very important to include this next one. And we haven't been here anywhere near an hour yet anyway. Verse chapter 14, and all the congregation lifted up their voices, or they got louder, and cried, and the people wept that night. Because they didn't have faith in Yahuwah to bring them into the promised land. Okay, we're going to see that. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the Ben, or sons of Israel, murmured against Moshe and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, would Elohim that we would have died in the land of Egypt, or would Elohim we had died in the wilderness? Verse 3, and wherefore, or therefore, hath Yahuwah or Yahweh, Tetragrammaton, those 4 letters, brought us unto this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our Ben, our sons, should be a prey? Were it not be better for us to return unto Egypt? I mean, in the same way they were talking a while ago and just talking about meat. Now they're scared to death of all these people, and they're murmuring against. They never learning their lesson. A lot of people still don't learn their lesson today. And they said one to another, let us make a captain, or appoint a leader, and let us return unto Egypt. Then Moshe and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the sons of Israel, the Ben of Israel. 6, and Joshua, the son of Nun, and Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, tore their clothes. These are 2 witnesses here. Verse 7, they are representatives. They are witnesses for Yahuwah. Okay? Verse 7, and they spake unto all the company of the Ben, or sons of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceedingly good land. If Yahuwah, or Yahweh, that 4 letters, that tetragrammaton, delights in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. See, that's faith. That's what they were demonstrating. The rest of them were showing fear and lack of faith. Verse 9, only rebel not you against Yahuwah, or against the Most High. Neither fear you the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them. You guess who their defense was? Only reason they were in the promised land is because Yahuwah, or Yahweh, or Jehovah allowed them to be. He was their defense, and their defense had departed from them. Listen, and Yahuwah is with us now. Fear them not. They don't stand a chance. Verse 10, but all the congregation wanted stone them, or these 2, Caleb and Joshua, he wanted to stone them, and the glory of Yahuwah appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation, which is the Ruach HaKodesh. That's the glory of Yahuwah before all the Ben, or sons of Israel. Verse 11, and Yahuwah said through the glory unto Moshe, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be before they believe me? For all the signs which I have showed among them. 12, I will smite them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and will make of you, Moshe, a greater nation and mightier than they. Okay? And I'm sure he was talking about including Caleb and Joshua. Okay? Verse 13, and Moshe said unto Yahuwah, or Yahweh, then the Egyptians shall hear it. This is added. For you brought us up this people in your might from among them. That was in parentheses. Verse 14. And they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, For they have heard that you, Yahuwah, or Yahweh, those 4 letters, the tetragrammaton, are among this people. And that you, Yahuwah, are seen face to face. And that your cloud, which that's what standeth over them, that's what they see, standeth over them, and that you goest before them by day, and that was in that cloud, in that pillar of a cloud, and in the pillar of fire by night. 15. Now if you shall kill all this people as one man, because he could do that, then the nations will have heard the fame of you, who have heard the fame of you will speak, saying, because Yahuwah, or Yahweh, was not able to bring this people into the land which he sware unto them, therefore he has slain them in the wilderness. And now I beg you, let the power of my master be great. Adonai. That word Lord there this time in your King James is not Yahuwah, it's Adonai. It means master or of that nature. Be great according as you have spoken. Saying, verse 18's in red, Yahuwah is long-suffering. Yahweh, Yahuwah, Jehovah is long-suffering of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the lawlessness or iniquity of the fathers upon the ben or sons unto the 3rd and 4th generation. Pardon, I beg you, this is Moshe speaking, the iniquity or the lawlessness or the disobedience of this people according to the greatness of your mercy, and as you has forgiven this people from Egypt even unto now. See, Moshe was the mediator of the first covenant. He's the one that stood between the people and Yahuwah and even the Ruach. He stood between them and he defended those people. It's the same way our Messiah did. It was the same way that his shed blood went over us, as he was willing, Moshe, at this time to die, or he wouldn't have spoke like this to the Most High for the people. Verse 20, and Yahuwah or Yahweh said, I have pardoned according to your word. He said, because you asked, Moshe, I pardon them according to your word, as you have spoken. But there was a condition. Turn 21, he says, but as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of Yahuwah or Yahweh. See, in the prophecy according to Joel, it said that the Holy Spirit was going to come upon the whole earth. This is what he's talking about here. But it ain't always good, okay? Bad goes with that too. Some people are going to be anointed by that, and some people are going to be destroyed, okay? That's the power of the Most High. Verse 22, because all these men which have seen my glory, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, every one of these men that have seen my glory and my miracles which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not listened unto my voice. Surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them be that provoke me see it. None of them. These mumblers, these complainers, these ones that had no faith. Verse 24, but my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit, attitude, this spirit's talking about, with him, and hath followed me fully, him will I bring into the land whereunto he went, and his seed shall possess it. So because of his faith, Caleb gets to go in. Verse 25. This is added, this first part of it that's in black. In my Bible, my scripture is black. It says, now the Amalekites and the Canaanites lived in the valley. Okay? Yahuwah speaking here now. He says, tomorrow turn you and get you into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. He says, get to moving. Verse 26, and Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah, the tetragrammaton, those 4 letters, spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, 27, how long shall I bear with this evil? Or how long shall I put up with this evil congregation? Talking about Israel as a whole. And that includes those that were strangers that dwelled among them. Okay, because here's the qualifier, which murmured against me. I have heard the murmurings or grumblings of the Ben or sons of Israel, which they murmur against me. Verse 28. Say unto them, as truly as I live, saith Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah, as you have spoken in my ears, so will I do to you. 29, your carcasses shall fall in the wilderness, and all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me. Okay, he's talking about all of you that's come to the age of accountability. Everybody that wasn't of the age of accountability would live, and the rest of them would die in the wilderness. Doubtless you shall not come into the land concerning, not just doubtless, but he's swearing to them that they're not going to come into the land concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, except Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. Those are the two that are going to get to go in. Verse 31. But your little ones, the ones that aren't of the age of accountability yet, which you said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which you have despised. Because he sent witnesses in, and they didn't have faith in the Most High to deliver the land to them, and he would have sent that hornet, the Ruach, ahead of them to fight for them. Verse 32. But as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in this wilderness. 33. And your sons shall wander in the wilderness 40 years and bear your whoredoms, your unfaithfulness, and your carcasses be wasted in the wilderness. After the number of the days in which you search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year, shall you bear your lawlessness, your disobedience, even 40 years, and you shall know my breach of promise, their opposition. They opposed the Most High. Verse 35. I, Yahuwah or Yahweh or Jehovah, have said, I will surely do it unto all this evil congregation that are gathered together against me. In this wilderness they shall be consumed, and there they shall die. And that's a promise that was kept. Verse 36 through the rest of this chapter is in black, so it's Moshe or Moses' account. And the men which Moshe sent to search the land, who returned and made all the congregation to murmur against him by bringing up slander, which means a bad report, or really a false report, when you slander someone, upon the land. Verse 37, even those men that did bring upon the evil report upon the land died by the plague or the slaughter before Yahuwah or Yahweh. Verse 38, but Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, and I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly, and this is probably not even a good translation of the name, which were of the men that went to search the land, lived still. And Moshe told these sayings unto the sons of Israel, the Ben of Israel, and the people murmured greatly. And they rose up early in the morning and got them up into the top of the mountain, saying, Lo, we be here, and we will go up unto the place which Yahuwah hath promised, or Yahweh, for we have sinned. And Moshe said, therefore, or why now do you transgress the commandment of Yahuwah? They're getting ready to do it again. Okay, and they thought they would just offer themselves like as a sacrifice or something because they sinned. They would go up and somehow Yahuwah would deliver the land. But it shall not prosper, it will not succeed because Yahuwah is not with you. Okay? He's going to be with the people of the land. He told you not to go up and possess it. Verse 42, Moshe says, go not up, for Yahuwah is not among you with his Ruach, that you be not smitten or killed or defeated before your enemies. For the Amalekites Get it out there. And the Canaanites are there before you, and you shall fall by the sword, because you are turned away from Yahuwah. He told you to not go up. He said, get down from there. Therefore Yahuwah will not be with you. Yahweh, the Tetragrammaton, is not going to be with you. He's not going to send his glory. Verse 44, but they presumed to go up, or they didn't listen, and they went up anyway unto the hilltop. Nevertheless, the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah and Moshe departed not out of the camp. From this point on, whenever Israel was to be successful in a battle, that ark of the covenant went with them, and it didn't go up with them. It stayed in the camp. 45, then the Amalekites came down, and the Canaanites which dwelt in that hill, and smote them, and discomforted them, or beat them, even into Hormah. Okay, we're going to stop right there. That's not quite an hour, but we're working right up to it, and that was 4 chapters. That'll be part 5 next time. Okay. And may Yahuwah, or Yahweh, or Jehovah, that 4 letters, that tetragrammaton, add his blessing to the reading of the word.